The placement of Ketu in the fourth house of a natal chart is one of the most profound and complex positions in Vedic astrology. The fourth house, known as the Matrubhava, represents our roots, the mother, the home, emotional stability, landed property, and the inner kingdom of the heart. Ketu, on the other hand, is the south node of the moon, a headless, spiritual, and detached shadow planet that represents past life mastery and karmic debts. When these two forces collide, the native often experiences a lifelong paradox regarding the concept of belonging. The rootless wanderer. In Vedic tradition, Ketu acts as a vacuum. Wherever it sits, it creates a sense of been there, done that. Because the fourth house governs the home, Ketu here often manifests as a deep-seated feeling of homelessness, even if the individual lives in a palace. There is a psychological restlessness, a feeling that the physical walls around them are temporary or illusory. This often leads the native to move frequently or feel like an outsider within their own family lineage. Spiritually, this is because the soul has already mastered the domestic sphere in previous incarnations. In this lifetime, the universe pushes the native away from the comfort of the nest and toward the 10th house, Rahu, which represents public life and career. The mother and the emotional landscape. The relationship with the mother is frequently the most significant karmic knot for someone with Ketu in the fourth house. This position can indicate a mother who was physically present but emotionally detached, highly spiritual, or perhaps faced significant hardships that made her unavailable to the child. In some cases, the native may be raised by someone other than the biological mother, or there is a sense of karmic distance between them. Emotionally, the native may struggle to find a baseline of peace. They might feel a strange, hollow ache in their chest, a spiritual dissatisfaction that cannot be cured by buying a new house or a luxury car. Ketu's influence tends to dry up the watery, emotional qualities of the fourth house, replacing sentimentality with a sharp, analytical, or even cynical view of security. Property and material comforts. While the fourth house governs real estate and vehicles, Ketu's presence here suggests that the native should not pin their happiness on these things. There can be unexpected issues with property, legal disputes, hidden defects in a home, or a feeling of claustrophobia in one's living space. Interestingly, Ketu in the fourth often grants the native mystical or ancestral knowledge. They may inherit old, spiritual books or feel a strange connection to ancient ruins and historical places rather than modern, shiny developments. If they do find peace in a home, it is often in a place that is secluded, near a spiritual site, or in a location that feels foreign to their place of birth. The spiritual gift of detachment. The true purpose of Ketu in the fourth house is the cultivation of internal peace that is independent of external circumstances. Because the native finds little lasting satisfaction in the traditional white picket fence lifestyle, they are forced to look inward. This placement is excellent for advanced meditation and occult studies. Once the native stops trying to fix their emotional state through material security, they unlock a powerful ability to remain calm in the middle of a storm. They become the witness to their own emotions. Conclusion. Ketu in the fourth house is a call to find the home within. It challenges the individual to redefine what security means. While the early years may be marked by a sense of emotional displacement or a lack of maternal warmth, the mature native eventually realizes that their true foundation isn't built of brick and mortar, but of the spiritual silence they carry inside. By leaning into their public responsibilities, Rahu in the 10th, while maintaining an internal sanctuary of detachment, they fulfill the difficult but rewarding path of the spiritual householder. When Ketu sits in the fourth house, its behavior is heavily colored by the zodiac sign it occupies. Because Ketu is a shadowy, ethereal force, it takes on the flavor of the sign while simultaneously trying to dissolve the physical attachments associated with it. Fire signs, the search for identity. Aries, there is often an impulsive or restless energy in the home. The native may have experienced a chaotic domestic childhood, leading to a lifelong habit of starting over in new locations to find peace. Leo, this creates a detachment from family legacy or status. The native might feel like the black sheep of a prominent family or find no joy in the traditional ego-driven displays of wealth and property. Sagittarius, this is one of Ketu's stronger positions. It creates a deeply philosophical home life. The native may treat their home like a temple or a library, preferring spiritual wisdom over material comfort. Earth signs, the dissolution of stability. Taurus, since Taurus loves luxury and Ketu dislikes attachment, this creates a major internal tug-of-war. The native may possess beautiful things but feel no emotional connection to them, or they may experience sudden fluctuations in their assets. Virgo, home life is approached with extreme logic or criticism. There may be a preoccupation with fixing the home or a history of health-related issues within the family environment that leads to emotional detachment. Capricorn, this brings a very cold or disciplined atmosphere to the private life. The native often feels a heavy burden of ancestral duty but finds the emotional side of family time to be restrictive or empty. Air signs, the intellectualization of emotion. Gemini, the mind is never still at home. There may have been frequent moves or a childhood filled with books rather than hugs. The native uses communication and intellect to bypass their deeper emotional needs. Libra, this creates a sense of detachment within relationships at home. The native may seek a perfect or balanced domestic life but finds that the more they try to balance it, the more elusive peace becomes. Aquarius, the home life is unconventional or eccentric. The native may live in communal settings or feel like a stranger to societal norms regarding the traditional family, preferring a more detached, humanitarian outlook. Water signs, the deep karmic ocean. Cancer, as the natural ruler of the fourth house, Ketu here is highly sensitive. This indicates a deep-seated psychic intuition but also a profound feeling of being orphaned emotionally, regardless of the actual family situation. Scorpio, this is Ketu's sign of exaltation, per many traditions. It grants massive occult power and an ability to transform through domestic crisis. The native's private life is often secretive, intense, and profoundly spiritual. Pisces, the ultimate spiritual placement for Ketu. The home is seen as a place of retreat, isolation, or even a monastery. The native may feel that their true home is not on this earthly plane at all, leading to a life of beautiful, quiet transcendence. The transit of Ketu through the fourth house is a significant 18-month period that acts as a spiritual cleanse of your inner world. While a natal placement describes a lifelong character trait, a transit represents a temporary phase where the universe asks you to reevaluate your foundations, emotional security, and relationship with your roots. The dissolution of home. When Ketu transits the fourth house, the most immediate effect is a sense of restlessness regarding your physical living space. You may feel a sudden, inexplicable urge to move, or perhaps the home you once loved starts to feel like a waiting room. This is not necessarily because the house has changed, but because your soul is outgrowing its current container. For some, this transit brings actual physical changes, sudden repairs, legalities regarding property, or relocating for work. However, the deeper lesson is detachment from geography. Ketu is trying to teach you that your home is not a specific zip code or a set of walls, but the consciousness you carry within. Emotional vacuity and the void. The fourth house is the seat of the subconscious and the heart. As Ketu moves through this sensitive area, it often creates an emotional void. You might feel a bit numb, distant, or less interested in the usual family dramas and celebrations. This isn't necessarily depression, though it can feel heavy. Rather, it is a withdrawal of energy from the external emotional world so it can be redirected inward. Your relationship with maternal figures or the mother itself may undergo a shift. There can be physical distance, or perhaps a realization that you can no longer rely on them for the same emotional fuel you did in the past. This transit pushes you toward emotional self-reliance. Ancestral clearing and past memories. Ketu is the planet of the past. During this transit, old memories, childhood traumas, or ancestral patterns often float to the surface. It is a drainage period for the subconscious. You may find yourself dreaming of the past or dealing with family secrets that finally come to light. The goal of this transit is karmic completion. By facing these old ghosts without getting tangled in them, you clear the land of your heart. It is an excellent time for therapy, shadow work, or ancestral healing practices, as the veil between your current self and your psychological roots is at its thinnest. The shift to public life, Rahu in the 10th. While Ketu is emptying the 4th house of domestic attachment, its counterpart, Rahu, is simultaneously transiting your 10th house of career and public status. This creates a powerful polarity. The internal world, 4th, feels hollow, uninspiring, or done. The external world, 10th, feels hungry, ambitious, and demanding. The universe is essentially pulling the rug from under your feet, the 4th, so that you are forced to stand up and face the world, the 10th. Most people find that during this 18-month window, their professional life accelerates or demands a new identity, precisely because they no longer find the same comfort or refuge in staying hidden at home. Navigating the transit. To navigate this period successfully, one must avoid clinging. Trying to force domestic stability or emotional happiness during a Ketu transit is like trying to hold water in a sieve. The most constructive way to use this energy is to embrace minimalism. Simplify your home, let go of emotional baggage, and spend more time in solitary reflection. When the transit ends, you won't necessarily have a new home, but you will have a new way of inhabiting yourself, one that isn't shaken by the changing tides of the outside world. Subscribe, like, and share.